Hey peeps, how's it going? What a weird world we live in. But like I said, man, Detroit Drew's not going anywhere. DSA is not going anywhere. A lot of people are canceling their shows, rather their ESPN shows or if their podcast, whatever it may be. Above the rim's still here, man, and it's gonna be tough as the weeks go through to come up with some topics, but we're not going anywhere. But before we get carried away, man, let me introduce you to the panel today because we got a good one for you guys. First up, one of the newest members of the Detroit Sports Alliance. Be sure to go subscribe to him. His link, along with several others, are in the description. He is no other than Jim Bordeaux. Did I say that last name right?
No, it's Bordeaux.
I was say
I
it's Bordeaux. How
I
did you
will
not know
I
that?
will continue to butcher it. It is not my fault.
No, you're
Oh
all
yeah,
right.
I forgot. Drew is bad with names, so I'll
I'm
give you a
terror.
pass.
I am
I
like
forgot.
like Luke G says he's bad with names, but I swear I'm worse. But how's it going, Jim?
Oh, it's real good. It's good. You know, it's good to come on and talk some sports and all this madness.
Well, speaking of madness, there's no March Madness. But speaking of madness, we got the heart of the city, 313 JMO. How's it going, JMO?
I mean, it's not going well. Basketball is canceled. But at least I get to talk to the people, let y'all know we don't leave no matter what, man. So we always here, man.
And this show is going to be harder and harder to do. Like it's going to be harder and harder to find toilet paper. So we're going to jump right into it, fellas, man. What do you guys think the direction the NBA is going to go towards? Because they said there's going to be a hiatus at the very least, 30 days. 30 days, no NBA basketball, no March Madness. March Madness got canceled. So a lot of the players from the NCAA that were looking to boost their draft stock or really make a name for themselves, who people may have not taken seriously or even considered to be a lottery pick, their opportunity to make a name for themselves, it's gone. They're going into the draft, if they're going into it now with no playoff experience in March Madness. So a lot of people are already starting to say playoffs already. They're going to get rid of the regular season and just jump straight into it because in 30 days, it'll be April, usually right around the time playoffs start anyway. There's usually a couple games towards the end of April because we got April in the D, but there's only like 2 or 3 weeks in April that basketball is here in the regular season. Jim, man, what do you think the NBA's game plan, or what do you think they should do to counteract this hiatus?
That's a really good question. We're in unprecedented territory. I think it depends on how long this goes. They're saying at least 30 days. So we got to consider that it may be longer than that. I don't know if it will be, but I believe they will go right to playoffs. I believe that they will end the season and start the playoffs. I know it's probably not fair, but like I said, we're in unprecedented territory right now. I think they're just going to play it by ear and try to get a lot of input from everyone around them and try to make the best decision for everyone involved.
And that's something we can't take lightly because a lot more of the NBA players, and I don't just want to limit to NBA players because it's more than that, but athletes today are more vocal, they're more political, and they really kind of want to make a spotlight out of it. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing, but they're more open about how they feel towards things, and a lot of guys they don't want to play during this. They're super cautious. A lot of people were already not giving fans high fives and stuff like that. So I mean, they're very cautious and very self-aware of this. But JMO, man, what's your thoughts on what the NBA and even March Madness or NCAA needs to do to counteract what's going on right now?
Well, I wouldn't say counteract, but I would just say, let it die down. Wait the 30 days and then do everything as you would do normally. So instead of March Madness, gonna be April Madness, or maybe May Madness. But same thing with the NBA. Continue the season as normal. If after the 30 days it dies down to the point where it's somewhere under control, where the players and the owners would feel comfortable allowing everybody to play. I don't think they should just like go and cancel everything for all of the separate seasons, whether it's baseball, hockey, um, college, or the NBA, because you still got to get the people what they want, even if it's delayed. Because sadly, this probably will boost the ratings. because once the NBA come back, you gonna be trying to watch it like you a crackhead and you finally just got some crack. Like I'm telling you, once the NBA come back, all of the ratings are gonna shoot up because everybody is going to be watching, and that's not just for the NBA. That's for college. That's for hockey. Baseball hasn't started yet. Spring training has started, but like all of the sports, all their ratings are gonna shoot up to the sky because that's if after the 30 days things die down. We don't really know what's gonna happen in the next 30 days, but I feel like they should take that approach because at the end of the day, people got to get paid. People want to make money, and people want to continue to watch all of these games.
So let me ask you this, Gmo, because I know you're the Pelicans fan, and Milo brought it up, or Milo, however you pronounce your name. Like I said, I'm terrible with names. I apologize. I don't do it on purpose. But he said the Pelicans would have made the playoffs if they go after this 30-day period and come back. I'm not saying that they will or that they won't, because they're going to reevaluate it in 30 days. If they jump straight into the playoffs, this is going to hurt some teams, okay? Because right now, I believe Memphis is the 8th seed. The Pistons, we'll try to combine all the teams here because this affects an NBA. It's not just a Piston thing and it's not just a Pelican thing. But the Pistons right now are trying to tank and get one of the worst picks in the draft. If the season ends right now without the lottery taking effect, we're like the 5th pick in the draft. Several teams fighting for a playoff spot now don't have an opportunity to get it. JMO, do you like that idea or do you not like that idea?
Oh no, that ideal deal, and it's not because I like the Pelicans. It's trash. And I mean, it's not a 60-game season. If it was, I would feel differently. But I feel like, especially with the 8th spot in both conferences, the 8th spot is always the one that comes down to the end. No matter how trash the East has been over the years, no matter how good the West has been, that 8th seed is always the seed that everyone, whether 3 or 4 teams, are fighting for. And if you just give it to the team that happens to get the luck of the draw by the way the season was going on, it's very underwhelming, and it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of trash. And when you think about Memphis and the Pelicans, they play each other 2 more times, and that could literally decide the playoff race. So I know Memphis fans were like, well, we got here throughout the season or whatever, and we worked hard. I'm like, bro, the season not over. You can't be rewarded for with the season being over. And I wouldn't like it if they just skip the rest of the games and went straight to the playoffs, because what's the point of that? First of all, you got to get some excitement back into the people by actually playing some of these games. Like, you go straight to the playoffs, Memphis against the Lakers, who's gonna watch that besides Lakers fans? Nobody.
Memphis fans.
And how many? They don't got no fans, man. They all came out this year. Bunch of bandwagoners. Sorry to say it like that, but it's facts. So, like, nobody's gonna watch that, especially when you don't have anything to like anticipate. Do y'all want to make more money? I thought the NBA was about making money. You make money by having more games played and up in the anticipation, because even the Memphis versus Pelican games would probably be extremely highly viewed because of how important the games would be. And then when we're talking about the East with the Pistons, I'm extremely pissed. I don't believe in tanking. Never believe in purposely losing for anything. But if we losing, cool, and I would want us to lose more. If that's the way that happens, if we win a game, I'm not going to be upset. But, we trying to get draft picks. We trying to get point guards. And now we just, at the 5th spot. I mean, that's not bad, honestly. But at the 5th spot, we not going to get the 2 or 3 guards that we really need. So I don't like that either.
And, something that we got to take in consideration here, if they jump straight into the playoffs after a month off of basketball, how well are teams going to be locked in and focused or even ready to play? You'll probably see if that happens, you'll probably see a lot more upsets, because LeBron, he's up there in age and he's been catching fire lately, been playing like LeBron lately. He's been playing all season long, but I mean the last few games before this happened, he's been out of his mind kind of balling. you give older players like that time off, they're going to have a hard time to recoup and kind of catch all their momentum or get back to where they were at. So, I mean, if you jump straight in the playoffs, anything could happen, especially with Utah. A lot of reports saying that a lot of players are very upset with Gobert and that they don't like him or they don't trust him anymore. So, I mean, if they jump straight in the playoffs, they have no more chemistry right there. I mean, that's just a lot of things. But
Well, Gobert, if I was his teammate, it would have been like when Michael Jordan punched Steve Kerr. Because I'm especially if I'm Donovan, I'm going in your shit. Like I'm serious. We gonna have to fight, bro. Like you gave me coronavirus. We gonna have to fight. And if we not fighting, we not gonna be cool. Because you made a joke of it and you made a mockery of it, like wanting to, be a follower because some of the other NBA players are making jokes of it. Well, it wasn't a joke because you the reason I got this. No, I can understand that, and I can see, man, they better not do it like that because the Clippers, and I'm just talking about from a team chemistry standpoint, I can see them getting upset just because they don't got that chemistry and they needed to continue to build that. You go up against a team like OKC or the Mavericks or whoever else is in the 7th seed, it's gonna be a problem. You need to have that chemistry. I'm less worried about the Lakers because they got LeBron. LeBron, it just don't matter. He LeBron. I
that's
mean,
true.
it don't matter, you know. And in the East, upsets are not really gonna matter because the East is basically it's not gonna get real in the East until the second round. Like you basically can predict all the teams that's gonna win and lose. It's not really gonna be any upsets in the East because like the bottom 4 teams are a little bit they can't compare to the top 4 teams. But in the West, it could be a lot of upsets. Who's the 3 seed? Denver. If Denver, they mess around and play Houston or OKC, they could be upset too. So you just don't want to do that. And like I said, I thought it was about making money. If it's about making money, that's not what you're gonna do.
Well, without further ado, we have a doctor in the house. Bravo, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
I'd be a lot better if there was some sports on TV. It's getting really boring watching info from us.
Yeah. Yes, it is really like social distancing. The whole thing is going on. It's a huge, massive effect on us, to
Oh
be
yeah.
honest.
Let me see.
It's really tough to deal with this at home and not do much, even while we're still young and healthy. But I mean, it's still like really tough because no sports, you can't go out much, you got to be restricted. Even the gym, you have to really think twice before you go to the gym. I mean, this is I'm telling you, this is something we gotta take seriously, so seriously. People like downplaying the coronavirus. This is no joke at
Oh my
all.
god, bro.
So
We have
Bravo,
to
look
we
at
have to
look.
say C virus. YouTube is cracking down on that C word. They don't want us saying it,
Oh,
I guess.
okay.
So if you refer to it, just say virus or C virus for right now.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that thing. So you can't just do everything like you are. And we have to literally change our life at least for the next couple of months. And I can tell you, if we don't do this, we are done as a country. I'm telling you, this is very, very like nobody imagine how this thing is strong. Really, nobody. I'm telling you. I mean, it's really hard to predict what it can do. And if next thing, if it mutates, that's it. You could call it a wrap. I'm telling you. So we got to be really careful. And you guys, I mean, I know I'm talking to the fans. We have to really respect I mean, I guess the general opinion. If they want us to be sitting at home, we got to sit at home. As far as the NBA basketball, I got bad news for you guys. I don't think it's going to be back, in my opinion. At this situation, it will be crazy to be back. If it's back, it might be behind closed doors. But that's really tough because, technically speaking, you can only bring back into the game behind closed doors after quarantining the players for like maybe you need to quarantine the players for about a month to make sure they don't have any symptoms. And then and you have to put all the players at once in one place to make sure they're not getting exposed to anyone. And then you can start really playing the league. And I doubt this is going to happen. So we're not going to see any more basketball and get prepared for months of this like this, not just a 1, 2 days. We need to have at least 3 months before we get over the tip. This is just the beginning. I'm sorry to say that, but it is really tough. And And I'm actually shocked still because I know what's going on. It's really rough.
I believe the NBA, their memo to the entire NBA staff, coaching staffs, front offices, and teams in general is that all players that play for that city have to stay in that state and they can't leave. So even though, like, I don't know,
Wow, I didn't know that.
like Blake Griffin goes to LA in the off season, they have to stay in Michigan. They can't go outside of there. So if LeBron wanted to go back to Cleveland in the off season, right now he can't. He's got to stay in LA. So it's definitely a weird time. So Bravo, just to throw you into the fire while you're here before I pass it to Jim. You don't think the NBA is going to go straight to the playoffs after this 30-day hiatus? You don't think they're coming back at all?
No, I don't think so. I think maybe we're looking at September. I'm thinking. I mean, even we're gonna pass everything because we need at least 3 months of recovery before this starts to get back into normal life. So calculate at least 2 to 3 months from now. So April, May, maybe June, and then maybe we could think about things in July, August, September. They can bring it back like a summer league time, maybe. I don't know.
Bravo. If they started at September, you might as well just say the 2019-2020 season. Yeah, that was just like when they be like that was the lockout year. Be like, yeah, that was the C virus year. It was no champions. It was nothing. Just
They might.
like
They
you
might
might
as
as
well.
well just do that and just start a new season. If you're talking about September, because the season starts in October.
Yeah, they might just do it and maybe crown the highest number of wins at this point. So they might crown the Bucks as the winner already, and I can see it
But
happening.
no, they're not gonna crown a winner because we didn't play any playoff game. I was just saying they'll just cancel the season, treat it like a
Exactly.
lockout year. And Cole Anthony is trash. Don't be fooled. And there isn't a LeBron, and there isn't Marvin Tober. There is not a LeBron type player in this draft. The best players are LaMelo and Anthony Edwards. No cap. Cole Anthony is garbage.
No,
I'm
it's
gonna
not
keep
really
saying it.
garbage. I mean, I
He
think
is trash. His team is trash. This is the first time I've seen North Carolina not make the tournament in like 15 years. He garbage.
well, I mean, the guy can ball handle. That's the biggest thing for him.
Can he really though?
Yeah, watch him. He's one of the
I
best ball
watched him.
handlers in there. He is one of the
He's
best.
not that good.
He ball
I'm trying to tell
handles
you.
better than Tyrese Halliburton and better than. I mean, I could tell you he is a really one of the. He's up there in terms of ball handling, just like D Rose
But
almost.
look who you comparing him to. Tyrese Halliburton. Can
Yeah.
he ball handle like Melo? No.
No, the Melo, nobody can get
All
over
right
that guy.
then.
But I mean, I think in my opinion, getting the number 5 pick is a lot better than getting. I'm satisfied with we are right now. We have a great chance at going +2 or going down by -2. So we can end up at the 7 or we can end up at the 3rd pick.
No, getting the 5 pick is great. I'm not going to complain about that. We haven't had a pick that high, and I do like Obi Toppin. That all right. Drew.
I do like him just because of the fact he's a little bit old, 22. He'll be 23 next season. So I'm not sure about.
His ceiling is low, but he's so athletic, man. When you that athletic, like, and you got all them skills, you just got to take a player sometime because
Yeah,
if you
I
don't
mean,
get those guards, that's
I
what you
agree.
got to take him.
I agree. If he's at the 5th spot, we don't have anything available good for us. I wouldn't mind him, but I mean, I'm thinking the top 3 are like definitely like it's gonna be Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, and the next Killian Hayes maybe. But you gotta put like James Wiseman in the top 5. So if we get a chance at James Wiseman, man, I mean, I'll be happy with James Wiseman for sure. But I'll be topping his top 5 for sure. I think I could see him going top 5.
He reminds me of Christian Wood a little bit, man.
Mm-hmm.
So
Who,
I
Obi?
wouldn't be. Yeah, I mean, dude, this guy is super athletic. He can stretch the floor. The thing that I really like about him
I
is
don't know if Christian could dribble like that though.
he is able to take people off of the dribble. He's got a quick first step at the 3-point line. And a lot of guys don't expect him to move like that. And then once he gets by you, he's dunking it. So I think the thing with him, he just needs to get a little bit more consistent with his 3-point shot.
Yeah, the thing, look, man, I'm not no mastermind at basketball, but I know when players gonna translate to the NBA. Obi Toppin is gonna be good in the NBA. I don't know if he's gonna be a superstar,
Yeah.
but his first few years, he's gonna be a good player. You can just see it. Like he
Yeah.
probably should have been
He's got a good
drafted a year
frame.
ago. He should have been probably just like I said. He probably should have been drafted a year ago so he could really develop. But he stayed. He's gonna be a good player early on. So yeah, I don't. Even though we don't really need small forwards, I'm not gonna pass up on Obi Toppin because I want to get a center or something like James Wiseman. I'm not doing that. I'm getting a perimeter player.
Yeah, I want to stay away from the big guys this year.
Me
I want
too.
to go a guard or go ahead and get a solid wing. 'Cause that's the way the NBA is going. But real
Yeah.
quick. Tony dropped $1.99. Thank you, Tony. He said the Pistons picked the best year to hit bottom/rebuild. I don't know. I think last year might have been a better opportunity to get a chance to go for Zion or John Morant. But
Yeah, I agree. I don't think the draft is as good at the top this year as it was last year.
see, I think we're saying that because there is no John Morant or there is no Zion in this one. But these guys
Right.
are still quality players.
Whoa,
They're just not.
You sure about that?
They're just not gonna. Well, they're not gonna be as good as John Morant or Zion, but they're still decent players.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. I mean, no one was
Really?
hype. No one was
LaMelo
hyping.
and Anthony Edwards can't compare to Zion and Ja.
I mean, Lamelo might. I don't know. Do we?
I was say,
I don't know. I don't know.
I like Ja, but Melo's doing this in a better league.
But
And
think about it
Anthony
this way,
Edwards
though.
is a freak of nature. Dog,
We've
that dude is
been talking about
killing.
Zion since high school, though, and then John Morant took over in March Madness. We don't got March Madness to talk about anymore.
Yeah, but I've been
So-
talking about Anthony Edwards since he was 16, though.
That's true.
Because, like, I'm specifically talking about, we know with Melo scored 90 and they asked Steph Curry about it. That's how popular he is. But Anthony Edwards, when I saw when he was 16, I'm like, yo, he might be a problem. And he turns out he is.
Let's transition back to this because it is the majority of the topic. Blake Griffin, good guy Blake Griffin, along with several other players around the league, other one being Kevin Love and several more, are donating $100,000 not to the team, but to the people who work at Little Caesars Arena. You know, all the concession stand people, the merchandise people, anyone who works at LCA. There's so many people that work there. It's insane. But he is donating $100,000 of his own money to those people during this hiatus, which is absolutely amazing. You love to see it. It just shows you what a good guy Blake Griffin is, and that this thing really is bigger than basketball. So, Jim, I'm going to start this off with you. What does this mean to you? How much do you like Blake Griffin for doing this, and just how much does it show Blake Griffin is really a good guy?
Well, I've never had a question. He's a good guy. I think Blake Griffin came to Detroit and does want to be here, and that's one of the big problems, though, because he's an awesome individual. I think he helps the other younger guys on the court. I see him kind of coaching them up when he's there. You know, nowadays he's not there as much, but it's an awesome gesture to be able to help out the community that you're playing in. But the thing is, it's just he hasn't been available. So that's would be my only problem with him, is how injury prone he is. But this gesture was eye-opening for a lot of people. But I thought he was a good person ever since he's been here.
Only problem I have with it is Tom Gores isn't doing it. I would have much rather seen the owner take responsibility and pay the players and pay everyone who works there. Tom Gores is a bazillionaire. He should be doing this out of his pocket and not the star of your team. But I respect the hell out of Blake Griffin for doing this. Bravo, man. How do you feel about Blake Griffin doing this?
Just FYI, I think Tom Gore's already decided on paying for a couple of weeks already.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
So Tom Gores has done really good. A lot of owners, Mark Cuban, Tom Gores, he's already started the 2 weeks period hiatus already. He's paying the employees already. But Blake Griffin, his donation came out of support. So we gotta respect Blake Griffin. This is a great thing for us, and this is one of the times. We need to stick together. And I mean, even I'm gonna say myself. I'm being the guy who will be willing to help people in this case, not just a physician. I can try to donate if there's any issues in here. We need to stay together through this mess. And people do not pay attention to it because they don't think it's that serious. But I'm telling you, it is serious. And we need to take it seriously. So this is the time that we need to stay together. And we respect Blake Griffin for that. And maybe he can chip in another 100,000 again. He's taken 38,000 millions, you know.
Come on, man.
And
J-Mo,
see, that's
man.
what I was gonna respond to. That type of energy. We don't need that. I don't care how many millions he got. The fact that he donated in the first place to me, it's a big deal. And he what people don't realize is, you can't tell another man how to spend his money. He didn't have to give shit. He could have just been like, oh, cool. And nobody would have said, "Oh, Blake, you should have been donating. Why didn't you donate?" Like all these other, nobody would have said nothing to him. But once he gives up money, it's like, oh, he ain't give up enough money, or he could have did more. But I always knew Blake Griffin was a great guy. The main thing I like about Blake Griffin, which is why I'm confident when he comes back from injury, he's gonna be still a good player. His work ethic. He's a person that works hard to be where he is, no matter how much the Clippers overpaid him. But and like I was saying earlier, Gorge is giving some money. I know the Illich family has donated 1 million to give money to their organizations, and just like Bravo said, people sticking together and they looking out for other people. But I'm just I'm more concerned because like I work there, that's one of my jobs, but I'm concerned about the people that's like living paycheck to paycheck. Like I was telling them off air, like I'm a avid saver because I'm trying to make some big purchases for the future of my life, so I got money. But there's a lot of people that's not like me, and those are the people that's I'm more concerned with because I know some of them. So I'm like, so what's gonna go on? But and I don't really know how quick they're gonna implement this money that they say they're gonna give out. You said about Mark, like I believe Mark Cuban is literally paying them right now. So, but we don't know. I don't know how soon they're gonna implement anything like that. So we just got to see because it's a lot. It's a lot of different jobs up there. It's a
Yeah.
lot of people working there. I know one of our subscribers, one of my subscribers, one of yours too. He works there. I see him there sometimes. We talk sports, and he's like a chef there. So I'm like, who is getting what, and how soon is it going to happen? But all in all, with Blake Griffin, man, I expect nothing less, man. After I saw, this is completely unrelated, but after I saw him in on that roast show with that dude, I'm like, oh yeah, Blake Griffin he's a different kind of dude. So I'm not surprised at all. But I'm gonna shout out Kevin Love because somebody had to be the one to open the door, and Zion Williamson. Zion do not got a Kevin Love or a Blake Griffin contract, and he
Right.
talking about donating $1 million. His net worth is $8 million. Do the math.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he ain't gonna ever have to worry about money. He's Zion Williamson, but that's more alarming to me because the players who don't have $100 million contract, especially him, and I know Zion, he ain't doing this for attention. He's just not that kind of person. He's literally doing this out the kindness of his heart. So it's just nice to see a trend what Kevin Love did and what Blake Griffin did. And I wouldn't be surprised if Blake donated more later on if things got worse. But it's just good. He's doing what he's doing.
I think that's we talk about Detroit mentality, Detroit basketball. When we talk Lions, we talk about the need to build a culture. I think that's one of the things we never talk about when we talk Detroit sports, whether if it's the Pistons, the Tigers, the Red Wings, or the Lions, is that when you come here in Detroit, it means a lot more to do things off the court, off the field, off the rink than it does on it a lot of times. There are a ton of Lions players. We could go here all day who do a lot of stuff for the community. I mean, that's one of the coolest things about being a Detroit fan is how much these athletes come here and try to change people's lives. And $100,000, that's a lot of money, man. And yeah, you look at his contract and he's making almost $40 million, but like you guys said, he didn't have to do that. These guys don't have to donate money to anybody, but it just shows you how much they actually care about people, and that they're more than just trying to dunk on people or trying to make a name for themselves. There's a lot of selfish people in this world who wouldn't do this, and I respect Blake Griffin more and more almost every day, man. Almost every article I hear about Blake Griffin, you just realize how much of a good guy he is. And like you said, man, Zion's what, 19, 20, somewhere around that ballpark. Get
I think he just turned 20, but yeah,
Yeah,
he's
Yeah.
20, man.
on a rookie contract, donating that much money, buying his teammates Xbox Ones or PlayStations. He's just it's just good to see this kind of thing, man. You love to see it. You love to hear it. So it's a weird time we're living in. There's a lot of bad news. A lot of people's idols are getting this virus. So to get some good news and kind of some hope for some people, it's pretty good because you don't hear about people who aren't celebrities catching it. You don't hear their names. You don't get wishes or prayers to them. So it's good for them to get a paycheck, even though they're going to be out of work for a month or so. I love to see this kind of thing. But
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I see Marvin Tolbert said he said Zion got $100 million Jordan contract. His net worth is $8 million, and I'm gonna just say it like that. So they don't get the money, like they don't like hand him $100 million and tell him to go up on his way. It's a lot of stuff in that contract. So
Yeah, correct, Noble
I'm gonna
Sport.
just leave it at that.
Zion is still 19. He'll be turning 20.
Yeah,
So,
July 6th, he turns 20.
He's like Sekou. He's just a little bit older than, a few months older than Sekou.
speaking of Marvin Tolbert, he's got a question for the panel. He says, "Who will you miss the most from our 2019-2020 roster that we're not bringing back?" JMO, I'm gonna start with you, man. If there's one player you're gonna miss the most, we're not bringing back that we're not bringing back, who is it?
Do they have to still be on the team?
I don't
I'll
know.
say Andre Drummond because it's not anybody on the Pistons that we not bringing back that I care about. I'm being 100%.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
I know we already traded Andre, and I know he ain't coming back, but I would say Andre Drummond. That's the player I would say because, Langston Galloway. I've hated Langston Galloway, and hate is a strong word. I've hated Langston Galloway. This is like who's on Brandon Knight? Oh my gosh, I hate him more than I hate Langston Galloway.
He's a good dude.
If Kyrie Thomas somehow didn't make the team, then I would be very, very sad and pissed off about him. But if Kyrie Thomas is making the squad, I would have to just go be different and go like Andre or something because all the rest of the players, Thon Maker, Tony Snell, oh my gosh, I want to throw up. Who else? And then the rest is just the young guys that we like, Bruce Fee and everybody else. So that's what.
But they're going to stay. They won't leave.
Exactly. That's what
the only guy.
I can only think of Andre Drummond or Kyrie Thomas because Kyrie Thomas, I don't know if he'll make the team next year.
Well, only one I would be.
He's been balling, by the way.
Only one I'd be upset about if we didn't bring back is Christian Wood, but I think we got him locked up. We'll throw him the money bag.
Nah, he ain't going nowhere.
Yep. But Andre Drummond's a good answer. Bravo, man. You're the one who didn't say anything. Do you got anybody different?
As far as the previous players, I don't know. Maybe Reggie Jackson. But as far as the current players, I'm not gonna miss Brandon Knight, man. I don't want Brandon Knight back in. I'm just gonna say that. Sorry about that. So, yeah, Galloway. I'm still I'm not excited to bring him back. Although the guy is really respectable dude, and he's one of the best really characters behind the scene. So, there's a lot of people on this team. You don't want them to bring him back again. Even John Henson.
I was going to say Henson. And for no reason, really, because there's nobody on this team that I don't think is going to be back. Like you said, Kyrie, but I don't know. God, the rest of them, I don't know. I would say Henson, I guess, just to say something.
If we bring back Langston Galloway on a smaller deal, I would not be upset with that. He's got the second most made corner. I'm not saying he's gonna come in here and change anything because he's on this team right now and he's not doing it, but he stretches the floor out. You can put a lineup out there where you're down with Luke Kennard, Langston Galloway, and Mykhailiuk, and those are three guards right there who are some of the most efficient 3-point shooters on the team. It's not terrible an idea. I'm not saying throw him a lot of money. I'm talking $2 to $3 million kind of a deal, just cheap chump change money in the NBA.
All I'll say is every shot he taking, Speed, Luke Kennard, or Kyrie Thomas should be taken. Straight up. Kyrie Thomas can shoot the 3-ball too. He just don't got the opportunity. He can shoot threes.
Yeah.
So you don't need Galloway. That's the way I speak. You got other players that can do what he does. They just need opportunity. Christian Wood, all he needed was opportunity. That's what it is. You keep Galloway on here. That's just, especially because Dwayne Casey loves him. he stay on this team, he will be playing 17, 18 minutes a night, regardless of how he's playing.
How about Thought Maker?
And goodbye,
Eh,
Tom. I hope you become an all-star in 6 years, but it ain't gonna happen.
He, I don't know what to tell you about Thought Maker, man. I mean, I don't hate him, but I think you gotta like leave some of the guys that are unnecessary. Like we don't need Hansen, we don't need Galloway, we don't need like Knight. I mean, so for that reason, if we
Yeah,
don't need all of
hold on.
these guys, bring back Maker for that reason, maybe.
No, I mean, look, honestly, I'm not gonna throw a fit if we bring back Thon Maker because, like you said, I don't really dislike him like that. He's just not that good. But as we saw, once he got opportunity, he was giving you, even though it's not starting out, he was giving you like 13 and 7. Like I never thought he could put up 13 and 7 for more than one game. Let's be honest, like when early on when we first had, he was having double doubles. I mean, and this is Thon Maker. He's not a starter. We know that. He's probably a third guy on the rotation, but he probably needs more minutes to be productive. But I wouldn't trip about bringing him back since we don't really have any stickers. And he can play power forward. He can. I don't know what his percentage is, but he looks like he can shoot threes. So I mean, I wouldn't trip if he's back on the team. But it's just like I think he's done getting better. I won't say he's done getting better. He can still get better, but how much better can he get?
well, next year you're gonna have to worry about is Christian Wood really a 5 or not? Because when Blake comes back, Blake will be at the 4 and Wood will be at the 5, or vice versa. So I think that they have to start looking at backup centers. Maybe JaVale McGee. We talked to him this last off season. He is a native of Flint, so I think he'd be a good backup center for us. Come in here and block some shots, grab
Mm-hmm.
some boards. I know a lot of people want Dwight Howard, even though he might be a little bit fruity now all of a sudden. But I mean, this year he's been playing extremely well off the bench. So,
I would rather
um,
have McGee
yeah, I would too.
because, and I would start McGee, and this is why McGee doesn't play a lot of minutes. So Christian Wood will still be playing more minutes than McGee, but you want McGee starting for defensive purposes. Like McGee be playing like 20 minutes a night. He don't because of like his stamina or whatever issue he had growing up or whatever. He never plays a lot of minutes, but Christian Wood's not a 5, man. He will get torched. Like let's be 100. Like he ain't a 5 unless he gains 20 pounds. He's gonna be getting cooked all day. So if you have Blake, you Christian Wood to be the sixth man. I know he's earned a lot, but he'll still be getting paid. He'll be the sixth man if you would have like McGee, but Dwight Howard, I wouldn't start Howard over him.
Well, you look at it this way, okay? This offseason, we need to address this point guard, whether if we're gonna draft one or get a quality one in free agency. Hopefully, like Devin99 says, can't wait for Killian Hayes or LaMelo to be the starting point guard. We got to look at it this way, man. Let's say you got Hayes or LaMelo in there. Say you drafted one of those, okay? Either one will fine for the situation. Then you got Luke Kennard, Luke, Blake Griffin, and Christian Wood in there. All those positions right there can shoot the ball. You can't double team anybody because you're going to open look. And both Christian Wood and Blake Griffin are above the rim players. Blake Griffin not as much as he used to be. That is an exciting, fun lineup. Plus, then you'd have Sekou to throw in there. If Sekou improves, or if Dwayne Casey thinks he's got
three starting over
yeah.
Sekou.
Well, that's right now probably because Dwayne Casey's not a big fan of Sekou right now. I'm talking for Dwayne Casey.
Right now.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Dwayne Casey right now. He would start Luke over Sekou.
You have Luke. I mean, look, I agree with you, but I kind of don't because if Luke is healthy, you don't need Luke in the starting lineup. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because Luke does everything that Luke does, and he does it better. So you bring him off the bench to replace what Luke would give you, and then that's why you have Sekou there because he's the only one in that lineup that plays defense. Like that's an all offense lineup.
Either way, if you put Sekou in there into 3, all 1 through 5 can shoot
That's
threes and stretch the floor.
Because he's 6'9", and then if you put Sekou at the 3, then you could start Christian Wood because you got a 6'9" guy, 6'9", 230 guy. Blake Griffin 6'10", 240. I mean, I don't know how much Christian Wood weighed, but he's 6'10". So you know how some teams supplement for height by having a lot of tall guys. We could do that instead of having to have a traditional 7-foot center, and then you bring McGee off the bench if we're getting torched on defense.
Right.
at
Plus
the
that
center position.
plus that starting five, if you throw Seiko in there, they can all switch and guard different positions. So I mean, in a span of a few months here, we went from not having as much 3-point shooting at every position as we wanted to almost every position being able to stretch the floor out. But um, bravo, man! I know you're a big free agent draft guy.
Yeah.
What are some quality free agents? Now, I don't think we're gonna get a blockbuster free agent in here, but what are some quality guys that you're looking at free agency right now?
Speaking of centers, a lot of people don't look at the centers. I don't. A lot of people are looking at centers. Let me fix that. What I said. So I think the center that is available right now is okay for us next year is Alex Len. This guy is tall, is athletic. He can play center. He plays probably better than Thon Maker and better than Dante Hall. I think he'd not cost a lot of money. I would go after Alex Len personally because I don't know if McGee or Harrell is going to come to Detroit. As far as small forward, hey, it might be a crazy idea. I wonder why wouldn't we bring Josh Jackson if he's a free agent? And I also, what about Stanley Johnson? Stanley Johnson is a free agent next year. I mean, he's not gonna. He's 23. He's gonna turn 24 next year. He's still a young guy. He's an elite defender. I mean, I think it's not a bad idea to look at Stanley Johnson again. I know people will hate the shit, but it's. I mean, there's a lot of players that are out there we can try to get go after, but I don't see Stanley Johnson coming here. By the way, but it's. I mean, Alex Len, in my opinion, and I mean, the other one I mentioned is I forgot who I mentioned. Really, sorry about that. So these are the. Yeah. So I don't know exactly what kind of free agent you can bring right now. It depends. I think it depends mostly on the kind of player we're drafting. If we're drafting Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, Killian Hayes, these are the top three in my opinion. If we drop one of them, if we draft one of them, that's a good start for us. But if we don't draft any of those, we might as well get someone who can defend, who can play like some good athleticism. So I think Alex Len is not a bad start for me.
You got a lot of people mad at you, Bravo, for saying Stanley Johnson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Stanley
I mean,
Johnson.
I let Stanley Johnson go. You heard what we ain't stop it. But Alex
Yeah.
Len is trash, and I would rather have McGee. I see somebody said Serge Ibaka. Yes, because
Yeah.
they know about winning, man. I need winners on a team that's trying to win. Alex
Right.
Len is a career loser. I don't care what he does. He's a career loser. Like,
Yeah,
I
of
would
course.
even take Aaron Baines back.
Preach.
I don't know where he's at. I would take him back before Alex Len. No. McGee, Serge Ibaka, that's good. Like I said, I don't know Aaron Baines' contract. I don't know nothing about what's going on with him. But I would take him back before I did something like that. He said Stanley Johnson, man, square up.
Yeah, I'll take it back. I'll take it back. But I mean, I think he's not going to cost too much. Anyway, so yeah, I'll take it back. It's all right.
Oh no,
Man,
you got
I'm
to
not
stick to
really
your
high on
guns,
getting
man.
Josh Jackson. I'm not really high on getting Josh Jackson.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think he's that good either. So these players are a bust already, man.
Marvin Tolbert's got another question. Oh, you got something real quick, Jim?
No, I'm good.
Okay. He's got another question for the panel. He says, "What do you prefer, draft a PG other than LaMelo, with him being off the board, trade for Spencer Dinwiddie, or sign a free agent, Fred VanVleet?" I mean, I don't have anything against Spencer, and I think that they might look to trade him because Kyrie's going to want the ball in his hands. So I think that's a very real possibility that Spencer could be moved in the offseason. I'm not as high as VanVleet as the rest of everybody is. You know, I think if we're going to move down outside of LaMelo territory, I think we're going to be in good position for Killian Hayes. Bravo, man. What do you think the Pistons should do to address this point guard situation other than LaMelo?
So I don't think we shouldn't really trade in our pick for Spencer Dinwiddie or next year draft pick for Spencer Dinwiddie. This is going to be insane if we do that. I like Spencer. I would love him to be on the Pistons, but no. Same thing with VanVleet. VanVleet is a winner. He needs to go to a team that is a championship contender, not for us. He needs to go to maybe Miami or needs to go to Raptors. Maybe he go to somewhere else. He doesn't need to come to Detroit. I know Casey coached him, but I do not see him coming here unless we really overpay. I would rather draft a point guard younger than Melo, other than Melo. We got a lot of them in this draft, so I don't see a reason for not picking up a point guard. You got a lot of them already. Killian Hayes, Tyrese Halliburton. We got Anthony Cole Anthony. We got Nico. I don't like Nico Mannion. I don't like much of. I mean, there's a lot of point guards you can pick in this draft. So I think we should go ahead and do that. If not a point guard, pick a best available player. That's my point.
Unit 2 is asking, are you drafting best player or need? What if the best player available is a forward? And for me personally, in basketball, I take the best player available, even if it's a power forward. We've already got Blake Griffin. Get the best player available. But Jim, if we're drafting, man, and the best player is available, or are you drafting on need? What are you doing, Jim?
I'm drafting best player available. This team needs talent. Just straight up. And we've got some talent. You know what I mean? But this team is nowhere near contending. We're in a rebuild. You want the best player available because you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, if LaMelo isn't there, then I'm going Killian Hayes, and I know I look on this on DSA above the rim. I shit on Cole Anthony constantly, but
all the time.
But because I don't think he's that good. But anyway, I think he's because I think he's a low inefficient shot chucker. That's what I think he is. But if Cole Anthony's there and we don't get Killian Hayes or LaMelo, I'm taking Cole Anthony. Unless we get Obi Toppin. Like Obi Toppin is the only one that he's not really a need, but I can't pass up on Obi Toppin, man. Unless we get Cole Anthony. I just can't. Because as hard as I am on Cole Anthony, he has a lot of talent, and all of the issues I have with him can be learned. You can learn how to stop shot chucking and pass the ball more. Just like you can't teach his like off the dribble skills. He has to bulk up, but it's a lot of issues with him. But I probably would just take Obi Toppin, man, because I think that kid's gonna be good. Like I said, I don't know if he's gonna be a superstar, but he's gonna be a good player. Like I can't not see him not being good. Like he's gonna be a good player. So I'm definitely would take best player available as long as it's not James Wiseman. We don't need to do that.
Let me throw my question in here to everybody. It's so like right now, if the season ended today, because we don't know what's going to happen after this 30 days officially yet. It's all speculation. If the season ended today and we go in the lottery, we'd be the 5th pick. I think we would have like a 10% chance of getting the first pick if my lottery odds are correct, which I don't know because they changed them last year. But I think it's somewhere around that ballpark. It's not very good, but it's not impossible. Do you guys think if we go 5th, 4th, that if we wanted to move up, we would have enough pieces to move into the top 3 if we don't get it?
Well, you already heard me. I said probably the most craziest thing all year. I was like, give up 4. I think I said 5, but I was tripping. I was like, give up 4 picks to get LaMelo. But
no, man.
I'm that serious, man. But hey, man, people giving up 5 draft picks for Paul George. I'm just saying, sometimes you got to go get the player that you want. If we willing to give up first round picks, you go get LaMelo, you go get Anthony Edwards. Those guys are going to be special. And how often will we have a chance to get somebody that's special?
For us, it's very rare. I think the last time we had a good pick like this was 03, and we missed that one.
Yeah, but that was a really elite draft player. So this one, I don't think it's as good as the last one.
Yeah, but if we were talking about trading up, it's for LaMelo or Anthony Edwards.
I mean,
it's got to be.
I mean, I'd consider.
And if I would give up 2 to 3 first round picks. You can disagree, but all these mid-level first round picks we're gonna get in the next 3 years, are they gonna be LaMelo or Anthony Edwards? You know the answer. No. I love Luke Kennard. He will be an all-star, but he's not those guys. And that's our best mid-round pick we've probably ever drafted.
I know. I'm looking at how many picks we've missed on too. So I'm with JMO. If you got that player that is a difference maker, and he's one of those players that you view as special, you got to go get that player. You're going to waste draft picks anyway, the way we've been drafting.
Well, you aren't lying. Bravo, man. Do you think we have enough pieces if we don't land in the top 3 to move into the top 3?
We have enough pieces to move. Like what does that mean? You mean You mean you have enough
Well,
to trade up? That's a
yeah,
question.
to trade up. I mean, if we did, what do you think it would take for a team to move up, and do we meet that criteria? Do we have enough to move up if we wanted to?
It all depends. So I think if, let's say, if the Cavs end up, let's say, number one, I mean, it depends on which team end up with the number two picks. So if I can see us swapping with the Cavs easily. Cavs, I don't think they need a top two picks. They don't really need Lamelo Ball because they have already a couple of guards. They don't need James Wiseman. They could need a third guy on the list, maybe like a Killian Hayes or maybe Obi Toppin. So I mean, I could see us trading up with the Cavs. I don't see us trading up with the Golden State Warriors, obviously, or any team like the T Wolves. So I mean, I don't know, to be honest. It all depends on which team and what kind of scenario. But it is possible. We have what we have. I think we can trade in. We already indicated that we are willing to give up on Luke Kennard, which I hate to say, but it's a solution. Give up on Luke Kennard to get a Lamelo Ball. I'd do it. I mean, give up future assets. I don't like to do that because we might be looking at tanking another season. And I don't know what happens next year. So we got to be really careful with our picks in the future. But um, I think Luke Kennard is ideal because Svi is playing as good as we think he is. And I mean, if we really have to trade up to get like Lamelo or Anthony Edwards, I don't think anybody's giving up Anthony Edwards to be honest. But they could. I could see teams. It's really hard to tell. I mean, Lamelo might not really be picked at the top one. I can see Lamelo going top two or top three. So maybe we can try to swap with them. Maybe.
Well, that's a good question, man. I'm gonna piggyback off of that one. What's a draft prospect you guys are looking at that you think could potentially fall, whether if it's LaMelo or not? Because right now the Warriors are the worst team in the league. They have the best shot at getting the number one pick. You know, they're gonna have Curry and Clay back next year. They got Andrew Wiggins. They got Draymond Green. That's the starting 1 through 4. I'm looking at that center position. They don't really have one. They could be looking to draft Wiseman. I mean, there's the Warriors are kind of like a I don't know pick because are they going to pass on people like Melo or Anthony or whatever? Who's a player you guys are looking at right now without the draft board, thinking that maybe they could fall?
Well, James Wiseman is who I would say. First of all,
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but I don't think the Warriors will pass up on LaMelo or Anthony Edwards or Obi Toppin. Like, they could take either one of them, and I know they have Clay and whatever, but you can get Melo or Anthony Edwards, you just gonna take them. But James Wiseman is the guy that's gonna fall. Like, there's no way LaMelo falling past 3. There's no way, or Anthony Edwards. It just won't happen.
Well, I believe today is Steph Curry's birthday. Shout out to Steph Curry. Happy birthday if you're watching. I know you aren't, but happy birthday. I think he just turned 32. So how much longer are the Warriors going to rock with him before they start looking to groom another person? Because his game's different than everybody else's. He does not rely on athleticism. He is a jump shooter, but he gets a lot of his shots off of his quickness, his ability to get people off the dribble and create off of screens and stuff like that. Plus, it helps he can pull up from 50 feet, have ball on half court. I don't know how much longer they see him being as good as he is because earlier in his career, he had a ton of ankle issues. And the last couple of seasons, once they had KD, he's missed a game here, he's been out a couple of weeks here and there. So I mean, there is like I said, uncertainty with the Warriors of what they can do because I mean they could literally go anywhere. Certainly, center's what they need to go get, but they might go out there and they might go get JaVale McGee back. They might go out there and they might get a Dwight Howard or an Alex Len or whoever we talked about. So they're really unknown. Jim, is there anybody looking at this draft class that you think might fall?
No, I got to agree with the center position, to be honest, because I don't think you're going to pass up on Melo. But I think that also does that give an opportunity for someone like Golden State to trade out is what I would wonder. Because if the center position is something they need and they think that's what they want, they might be able to trade down and get some more picks and all that. But I don't know. It opens up some possibilities.
Bravo, man. I know.
like
I know.
what you
Go
said
ahead.
there. That's genius because we could trade with Golden State
Yeah.
if they get the first pick because they don't need really they got the best shooting backcourt of all time, probably second greatest backcourt ever. They don't need guards like that. Then they still got my boy Jordan Poole over there who's playing well. So they could easily trade down, get their center, and if they want to get Obi Toppin I mean, he'd be great with for them too. And then
Well, we got Robo JMO. You're breaking up, JMO. I don't know what you're saying. Bravo, man. Real quick, man. Is there anybody you're looking at this draft board and you think like, man, that person could fall? That if the Pistons don't get a top 3 pick, that they'll be okay because this person will be there.
It's crazy. This is the draft that I think because of the season is going to end right now, and because of this thing going on in the world right now, a lot of things can change, and I can see people rising up for not really great reasons. So I think I can see a guy like a Denny Avdia, who was the guy who was the Israeli kid, going up like at the top 3, and I can see players go down. So I think, in my opinion, besides what JMO said, James Wiseman, I think there's a possibility that Killian Hayes can drop a little bit to top 5, maybe instead of like top 3 or top 4. And also, like even a guy like Obi Toppin, I can see him dropping a little bit. I don't know about the rest. I hope we don't just go for. I mean, I know a lot of people like the center on Onyeka Okonwu, but I'm not a fan, man. We don't need we need a really good player. I mean, this guy is just going to be as a center as good he is defender, but so some players like that are going to fall. I think I can see them falling, but the top point guards. I mean, I could see also Melo falling below the. I mean, some teams. I'm not sure if they're really high on Melo either. So I can see Melo, the third pick, going third or fourth pick. You can see that, but I mean, I see a lot of people picking up Anthony Edwards the number 1. He is the number 1 pick more likely. So it's really hard to predict how things go around in the next draft because of this thing going on too. You know, we don't have March Madness, so we don't have players who are going to rise up their stock market. So sorry, we have some players that have the good, really stock market going up for them. So it's really hard to predict. I think if you pick up someone safer than anyone else, I'm not really like interested in him, but he is a good player. Like Jamo said, is Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin is going to drop. And I think if he drops to us with no one else is available, I think we should go and pick him up. Although I'm not really, because I want us to get a point guard.
You know, and I think that's a big question that we're going to have going into this thing is, you know, I like Toppin. You know, he's a great, solid player, and I think he'll be a good fit for the Pistons. But how much is he going to change this? You know, how much are we going to invest in him? Because they see someone we can build around. Because I'm looking at this saying, man, we really need a point guard, or we need a small forward that can play the point forward position like a LeBron, a Kevin Durant, a Giannis. Those kind of guys kind of changed the league, but it's really a guard-driven league, and we really haven't had that point guard since Chauncey Billups. And, you know, Chauncey was not the best point guard in the league. There was people way better than him, but he was a floor general. He knew how to orchestrate the offense and get people in the right position. He hit the big shot. He's Mr. Big Shot for a reason. I'm looking at this draft, and I'm really wanting to get that young point guard we can kind of groom because we got a lot of good pieces at other positions. Like for shooting guard, you got Luke Kennard and Mihailuk. Both of those guys can shoot the lights out. You're looking at the forward positions. You got Blake Griffin. You got a Mihailuk. You can throw him in there too because he can play it too. Tony Snell's a good guy to have in the corner. You got Christian Wood who can play the 4 or the 5. You got Sekou, a young, athletic, 6'9" guy who is just athletic beyond all needs. I mean, you got a lot of good pieces to put around a point guard, and I hope we can go out there and get that. Next question before
that's
go ahead, Jamo.
That's why I said I would even consider taking Cole Anthony over Obi Toppin because we need a point guard that bad. Like Killian Hayes is going, LaMelo's gone, Edwards is gone. As much as I don't like Cole Anthony, and y'all know, I would even take him over Obi Toppin, even though I'm much more confident that Obi Toppin would be a better player. We need a point guard that bad. Like, I would rather us bust on picking Cole Anthony and then not be a bad pick and then just taking Obi Toppin and he averaged like 17 a game for 8 years. You know? Like, that'll be good. Maybe he averaged 20 a couple years, but is that going to help us win?
Well, let me transition to this. Maybe this could have been something that changed your mind on Cole Anthony is no March Madness this year, man. We talked about it a little bit, but how much is this going to affect the players getting drafted this year? because it boosted Ja Morant's draft value last year. I mean, I don't know if Ja went as high as he did if he didn't ball it like he did in March Madness. I mean, he's a great player, hell of a player. Right now, it's between him and Zion for Rookie of the Year. I don't know how that's going to go with this hiatus thing, but how bad is this going to affect players' draft stock? Because now they have nothing to boost their draft value. No one can go out there and make a name for themselves. You look at, I know a lot of people are Michigan State fans here. You look at Winston, he probably played his last game for MSU. You know, no March Madness. He's done. He's got to go into it. How bad is this going to affect the players trying to make a name for themselves, Jim?
You know, it's hard to tell because we don't know that that they're not going to come back and do we know for sure that March Madness is over and it's just not going to happen?
We don't know that.
Because I think that the NBA and college basketball, if they come back sooner than later, will probably have everything. And just if the 30 days is it, you know, then I think we'll still have March Madness, and I think everything will be pushed back a little bit. I don't know that for sure. We're living in a time where we're uncertain at this point. But if we didn't have March Madness, it could hurt and help. I mean, there are players that go into March Madness. We think they're balling out regular season. They get to the postseason, they don't look good at all. So we've had that happen, and we also have players that weren't on the radar that just had a hell of a run, and then all of a sudden, then they're rising up the board. So everything's gonna kind of even out, I think.
Bravo. I know March Madness is a huge opportunity to scout some players you're not too familiar with on a bigger scale. If March Madness is done, they're not going to do it this year. How much is that going to affect the young players trying to make a name for themselves?
I think I'm a physician. I'm looking at things at the long term. Next month, next 2 months, I'm telling you, it's going to be crazy. Next couple of weeks, actually, Michigan is going to have a rough time. And especially next week and the next couple of weeks. You not even imagine how we're going to shit happen here. I'm telling you. So I doubt any kind of sports is going to come back. The way I'm looking at it, maybe at the beginning of July, August, September, maybe really late. We have to protect our people, and that's the problem. So I'm talking about that. So in terms of the players who are going to be picked, you look at Tankathon right now. You see the kind of players that are at the top, and I think I expect it to stay as it is. If the draft goes as it is. However, if there are tournaments that it starts later in the summer, so I can see the draft getting delayed until like everything getting delayed, and that could be a reason to change things around. But as it is, as it stands, as it is, there's nothing's going on. So the way we're looking at Tankathon is the way it is. So I think some players like Killian Hayes, Denny Avdia, these are going to have a high stock market, and players like Cole Anthony, Nico Mannion, and maybe Isaac Okoro, they're gonna drop down all the way. I can tell you that. So this is what I think is gonna be, and I think what we are gonna end up right now is the thing that's just gonna be close to Tankathon or the way as it is on the websites.
JMO, man, I know you're a huge March Madness fan. I know you love watching it with so many other people. How if there's no more March Madness, if they do go ahead and cancel it officially, how much is this going to affect the guys who we don't know that well or need to boost their draft value up?
Well, a guy get drafted I mean, I'm not that high on him in the NBA, but if he balled out in the tournament, he would get drafted. Like I could see him easily going undrafted. Cole Anthony wasn't making a tournament regardless, so he don't matter. But guys like Obi Top, it's just a lot of guys that I don't know if Georgia, I think their record wasn't good enough to make it as Anthony Edwards' team, but they might have made it if the season kept going. It's a lot of players that won't get noticed. You won't see those those Carson Edwards type guys, because maybe Carson Edwards don't get drafted if he don't do it in the tournament. It's just a lot of Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is a guy who played great in the back-to-back tournaments. Now he's with the Warriors, so it's gonna hurt a lot of these players that are really good, but they don't have the stage to show what they are. Like you knew with Zion and RJ, Canray, like you knew. Ja Morant stock definitely went up, but Trae Young, he didn't play well in the tournament at all, and he still got drafted high. So it just it depends I mean, I don't know if they'll cancel the tournament, but if they do, I feel sorry for a lot of these players that worked hard to make the tournament because it's always those Cinderella story type teams, and one of those teams usually has some great player that nobody cares about, that nobody knows about, and that player excels in a tournament carrying their team. But now we're not going to see anything like that. But yeah, so it's sad, man, because a lot of people gonna miss out on a lot of money and a lot of opportunity because if the tournament is canceled. But to everybody out in the chat, man, I'm gonna have to leave right now. But I just wanted to say shout out to everybody in the chat, everybody that came through. We do this every Saturday. It wasn't Free Smoke Saturday because we trying to stay safe out here. So
Yeah.
CC virus done killed Free Smoke Saturday.
Man.
But it's all good, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you subscribe to everybody on the panel and everybody in the description. All of the DSA members, and we'll be back next week with more to talk to you.
We're good to go on your channel next week, right, JMO? Alrighty. Next week we'll probably be on JMO's channel. We'll let you know as soon as we know. Thanks, JMO, for coming on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, you were kind of breaking up there. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right. So with that being said, appreciate you, Jim, for coming on. Appreciate everybody in the chat rocking with us today. This virus is it's not to be taken lightly anymore. It is very serious. I didn't think it was going to be that serious, but it is, I guess. So I trust Bravo's opinion of it. He is a doctor. He knows what he's talking about. So you guys got to stay safe out there, man. Do not take it lightly. So we're going to transition into final thoughts. Jim, what are your final thoughts on today's show? What do you got to say to the peeps in the chat right now?
Oh, I just want to tell everybody it's an unprecedented time, and to take it seriously. I'm with Drew. I didn't take it very seriously either. Parts of me is having a hard time with it right now, with everything that's going on in the world, man. Just call your loved ones, tell them you love them. Don't miss the opportunity right now to be close to the ones that you love. And I mean, as in, checking in on them and stuff like that, give them a phone call, something. But stay safe out there.
Appreciate you rocking with us, Jim. He is the newest member of the Detroit Sports Alliance. His link with all other members of the DSA are in there in the description. So go subscribe to him. He's got like a bazillion different podcasts. He talks wrestling. He talks Lions. He's got a lot of good connections. He's got a lot of good shows, so go check him out. Bravo, man. What do you got to say to the people in the chat right now?
Can you guys hear me? Is it clear or is it cutting?
You are crystal clear right now.
Okay. So, I think there's not going to be a good time for us right now. It's going to be boring, but hey, we need to stick together at this point of time. We need to hold ourselves. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, you're good.
Yeah, sorry. So we need to stick together. People, please pay attention to this. This is the biggest time for us. The whole world is going through this. Statistically speaking, it's not going to last more than a few months. If we really hold tight in the next few months, couple of months, I think we can beat this virus. And I hope we will. It's just a matter of when. And I have good news for you guys. Next month, we anticipate a couple of drugs that are going to be out there in the market. And they could help people who are really sick, and that will lower the limit of, at least lower the risk of death and from this thing. So stay put out there. Please be really stay at home at this time. If you really need to go eat, do your activity, do them from home. Have people deliver stuff to you at home rather than just go. Even I know you're healthy, but I'm telling you, this is very, very infectious thing, and we have to be careful. And I hope that this is going to be over soon because, even for me as a person, I'm really like shocked for this going on, and I haven't lived this in my life at all. So this is something new to our life. We haven't witnessed since the 1980, maybe 1918, which is the time of the influenza at that time. So stick with this and help each other. And I think we will be able to beat this thing, hopefully, and stay safe out there. And hopefully we'll be back in the summer, and this thing is going to go away at some point in time at the end of the summer or middle of the summer, and we'll start looking at new NBA and back to our normal life before.
Absolutely appreciate you, Bravo, for those words. Like I said, he is a doctor, so he knows what he is talking about. Again, thank you to everybody in the chat today. I know there's not a whole lot we can talk about. There's no breaking news. There's no sports period outside of wrestling. So I mean, we're gonna do our best to give you guys content each and every day. We're still coming here with Above the Rim. Even if we just come in here and answer some of your guys' questions, that's what we'll do. We're not going away. I know a lot of people are canceling their shows, whether it's on ESPN or Fox Sports, or if it's a podcast you listen to. I know some of those guys are canceling their stuff, and that's their decision. I have no control over that. But for Detroit Drew, I'm not going anywhere. This is what I do. I love talking basketball. I love talking sports. So we are here through this together. So it means a lot. You guys still come out here and do this. So just stay safe, man. Wash your hands. Find toilet paper. Find hand sanitizer. Easier said than done. People are crazy out there. It's kind of like Black Friday. People are out there probably starting fights at stores. So if you go out there to do some supply runs, be very, very safe. So that's all I got for you. You guys come back next week on JMO's channel. You're going to want to subscribe to him because we are alternating every other week. So that way we can help JMO grow and make the DSA a bigger brand. So thank you guys again for rocking with us. We'll see you guys here next week. Peace.